Plenty of massive rocks are on this planet, but few command the same awe as Uluru. Rising 1,142 feet above the Australian Outback, this sandstone giant is 2.2 miles long and 1.5 miles wide, making it one of the most iconic landmarks in the world. Need a size comparison? Uluru is taller than the Eiffel Tower and covers more ground than the entire country of Monaco. But size isn't even its most mind-blowing feature. This rock is old, like 550 million years old. That means Uluru predates Mount Everest by over 10 times and was already standing when dinosaurs ruled the Earth. And if that's not wild enough, this thing is so massive you can see it from space. For the Anangu people, Uluru isn't just a geological marvel, it's a sacred site with profound spiritual significance. This massive sandstone monolith holds deep cultural meaning, woven into the very fabric of Anangu traditions and beliefs. According to their creation stories, the world was once a vast, formless expanse, devoid of any distinguishing features. It wasn't until powerful ancestral beings, taking the forms of people, plants, and animals, traversed the land, shaping it through cycles of creation, conflict, and transformation. These beings left their marks on the landscape, carving valleys, ridges, and rock formations, giving Uluru its distinct shape. To the Anangu, Uluru is much more than a striking natural wonder. It is a living, breathing entity, infused with the presence of these ancestral spirits. The rock's caves, fissures, and markings are sacred, each telling a story that has been passed down through countless generations. Ceremonies, rituals, and teachings continue to honor the connection between the land and its people, reinforcing a bond that has existed for tens of thousands of years. While the Anangu have safeguarded these traditions and spiritual narratives, scientists offer a different perspective on Uluru's formation. Geological studies reveal that this iconic landmark began forming around 550 million years ago. Its origins tied to ancient seabeds, shifting tectonic plates, and the forces of erosion. However, even with this scientific explanation, Uluru remains far more than just a natural formation. It is a symbol of cultural identity, history, and the enduring legacy of the Anangu people. Uluru formed when the ancient supercontinent of Gondwana was breaking apart, leaving behind this giant sandstone formation. But what makes it truly special is its ability to resist erosion for hundreds of millions of years. Geologists call Uluru an Inselberg, or island mountain, because it rises dramatically from the otherwise flat desert. And unlike other rocks that break apart over time, Uluru's composition is unusually solid, with very few cracks or weak points. Over millions of years, wind and water wore away everything around it, leaving Uluru standing alone in the vast outback. But the real magic? Its color changes throughout the day. At sunrise, it's deep purple. By midday, it glows golden. And at sunset, it turns a fiery red-orange, one of the most breathtaking sights in all of Australia. From a distance, Uluru appears smooth and uniform, its massive sandstone form rising dramatically from the surrounding desert. However, up close, the rock tells a much more complex and fascinating story. Its surface is marked by deep gullies, basins, and grooves, all shaped by the relentless forces of erosion over millions of years. Wind, rain, and time have sculpted its face, creating intricate patterns and textures that reveal the rock's long geological history. During rare rainfalls, Uluru undergoes a breathtaking transformation as water cascades down its slopes in massive waterfalls, turning the usually dry monolith into a temporary spectacle of rushing streams and glistening surfaces. At its base, hidden within its folds and crevices, are caves that shelter ancient Aboriginal rock art. some dating back thousands of years. These paintings serve as visual records of Anangu traditions, stories and teachings, preserving their cultural heritage for future generations. For the Anangu people, these sacred sites are far more than historical artifacts. They are living connections to their ancestors, carrying deep spiritual significance and reinforcing their enduring bond with the land. Uluru's existence stretches back millions of years, but it only entered Western records in 1872, when explorer Ernest Giles first spotted it from a distance. A year later, surveyor William Gosse became the first European to officially reach the rock, naming it Ayers Rock, in honor of Sir Henry Ayers, a prominent South Australian politician. However, long before it was discovered by Europeans, the Anangu people had already been deeply connected to Uluru for thousands of years, embedding it into their spiritual and cultural identity. The indigenous people of Australia, the first Australians, belong to the oldest continuous culture on Earth. Their ancestors undertook an extraordinary journey from Asia, navigating some of the most unforgiving landscapes on the planet to settle in Australia. For years, scientists estimated that humans first arrived on the continent between 45,000 and 50,000 years ago, but more recent discoveries suggest their presence could date as far back as 65,000 to 80,000 years, long before humans even set foot in Europe. Surviving in ancient Australia was no small feat. The first indigenous Australians coexisted with some of the most fearsome megafauna ever to roam the Earth. Among them was the Diprotodon, a massive wombat-like creature the size of a rhinoceros; the Megalania, a venomous lizard stretching up to 23 feet, dwarfing today's Komodo dragon; and the Genyornis, a towering 500-pound flightless bird resembling an oversized emu. Then there was the Thylacoleo, often called the marsupial lion, a formidable predator with bone-crushing jaws and retractable claws, as well as the Quincana, a terrifying 16-foot land-dwelling crocodile that hunted on dry land rather than in water. Over time, these prehistoric giants vanished, likely due to a combination of climate change and human influence. Yet the Aboriginal Australians endured, proving to be master survivalists. Through their deep understanding of the land, they adapted to Australia's extreme environments, developing intricate knowledge of bush medicine, food sources, and water preservation. Their traditions, stories, and expertise have been passed down for thousands of generations, ensuring the survival of the world's longest-lasting civilization. Has witnessed more change than almost any other place on Earth, bearing silent testimony to the passage of time, geological upheavals, and human history. It began as mere sediment settling at the bottom of an ancient sea, slowly compacting into rock over millions of years. As tectonic forces reshaped the Earth's surface, Uluru rose from the depths, enduring the relentless forces of erosion, shifting climates, and even the formation and breakup of entire continents. Despite these monumental changes, Uluru remained a sacred and unshakable cornerstone of Anangu culture for thousands of years. The Anangu people, who have lived in the region for countless generations, wove Uluru into their Dreamtime stories, using oral traditions to pass down its spiritual and cultural significance. However, everything changed with the arrival of European settlers. They renamed the landmark Ayers Rock after Sir Henry Ayers, a South Australian politician, disregarding its indigenous heritage. Over time, Uluru became a commercialized tourist attraction, drawing visitors from around the world. One of the most controversial aspects of its exploitation was the practice of climbing the rock, something the Anangu people always opposed due to its spiritual importance. For decades, despite their pleas, thousands of tourists continued to ascend Uluru, treating it as a physical challenge rather than a sacred site. Finally, in 2019, after years of advocacy from indigenous communities, climbing Uluru was officially banned. This decision marked a turning point in how the world views and respects indigenous culture, shifting from a period of disregard to one of recognition and reverence. Today, Uluru stands not just as a geological wonder, but as a powerful symbol of indigenous resilience, cultural heritage, and the ongoing journey toward greater respect for Australia's First Nations people. Uluru is more than just a rock. It's a symbol of resilience and timelessness. For 550 million years, it has withstood Earth's ever-changing landscape, witnessing the rise and fall of towering megafauna, the arrival of the first Australians, and centuries of cultural evolution. Yet, through it all, Uluru remains, a steadfast guardian of history, seemingly untouched by time. But perhaps the greatest lesson Uluru offers is this: while the land itself is ancient, our understanding and respect for it continue to evolve. In a world that changes faster than ever, some places, especially the most sacred ones, must always be preserved. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, press the subscribe button, and also drop your thoughts in the comment section.